Have you ever wondered how a massive sea could almost completely dry up in just a few decades? This is not some sci-fi movie plot, but the real and incredibly heartbreaking story of the Aral Sea. Today, we are going to talk about how Kazakhstan is trying to bring water back to this wasteland and the monumental efforts it takes to save nature. Be sure to subscribe to our channel so you do not miss this amazing comeback story. Back in the mid-20th century, the Aral Sea was the fourth largest lake on the planet. Its waters were teeming with fish, huge fishing boats rode the waves, and cozy towns thrived along the shores. The locals took great pride in their massive catches and could never have imagined the disaster that was coming. This massive body of water was fed by two mighty rivers, the Sir Daria and the Amu Daria. For centuries, these rivers pumped life-saving moisture into the lake, maintaining the unique balance of the local ecosystem. The climate around it was pretty mild, which let folks grow huge crops. However, in the 1960s, massive and irreversible changes began. To grow cash crops, especially thirsty cotton, people started draining more and more water from the feeder rivers. Irrigation canals pulled that precious moisture right into the dry sands. With every passing year, the water level dropped faster and harder. The shores pulled back for miles upon miles, exposing a salty bottom that quickly turned into a completely lifeless desert. Former busy port towns suddenly found themselves way out in the middle of nowhere. This environmental disaster hit more than just nature. It also took a direct toll on the health of regular folks. Toxic salt and all sorts of harmful chemicals left on the dry lake bed were picked up by strong winds and blown for hundreds of miles around. Frequent dust storms became an absolute nightmare for everyone living there. They brought along respiratory illnesses and a lot of other serious health issues. This caused a huge spike in severe sicknesses and a devastating drop in the quality of life across the entire region. The rich plant and animal life of the Aral Sea also suffered losses they could not recover from. The commercial fish that used to live here in massive numbers started dying off incredibly fast because of the high salt levels. The water just got too salty and completely unfit for normal life. Lots of migratory birds, who always stopped by these welcoming shores during their long trips, could not find food or a safe place to rest anymore. The thick reed beds dried out, and familiar habitats vanished. Nature paid way too high a price for human progress. People suffered too, losing the livelihoods they relied on. Fishermen lost their jobs by the hundreds because there was simply nothing left to catch. Enormous fishing ships were left abandoned right in the sand, looking like giant beached whales. Slowly but surely, the locals started packing up and leaving their hometowns. Once they realized the horrifying scale of the tragedy, surrounding countries tried to come up with a workable fix for this massive problem. But for a long time, all their efforts felt totally pointless, since dumping that much water back in was practically impossible by then. The situation looked completely hopeless, and a lot of experts had basically kissed the idea of saving the lake goodbye. But Kazakhstan was not about to throw in the towel that easily and decided to take the lead on saving the lake into their own hands. That is when they started putting together a solid recovery plan. The state government knew full well that saving the whole massive lake was totally out of the question. The southern half of the sea was pretty much gone for good. So they pitched a bold plan to save at least the northern half. That decision turned out to be the ultimate turning point. To make this vision a reality, they had to build an incredibly sturdy barrier to block off the northern part of the sea from the vanishing southern part. That was the only way to hold on to the fresh water rolling in from the Sir Daria River. The engineers got straight to work designing the dam. Back in the early 90s, they made the very first attempts to build a dam like this. The construction crews used plain old sand and dirt because nobody had the money for expensive materials back then. The workers gave it everything they had, genuinely hoping this dirt wall could hold back the incoming water. Sadly, those early tries ended in massive disasters. Spring floods and fierce storm winds whipped up huge waves that easily and quickly washed right through those flimsy sand barriers. The water broke through to the south over and over again, disappearing for good into the scorching sands of the giant desert. Even after watching the dam get destroyed multiple times, the people never gave up hope. It became crystal clear that to pull this off, they needed a seriously heavy-duty, permanent structure. For that, they needed some major funding and backup from top-notch international experts and big organizations. In the early 2000s, Kazakhstan scored some major backing from the World Bank. Finally, they had the money they needed to build a legit engineering marvel instead of just another sandbank. That is how the massive Kokaral water-retaining dam project was born. This tough dam was meant to permanently and reliably block the northern Aral Sea from the dying southern half. The construction itself was an incredibly tough job. It took hundreds of highly trained workers and a huge fleet of the most modern heavy-duty construction equipment. The whole idea behind this new plan was to pool all that life-giving water in a relatively small chunk of what used to be the sea. This would slowly lower the damaging salt levels and eventually make the water safe again, bringing back the fish and letting people return to normal life. The massive construction of this huge dam finally wrapped up in the fall of 2005. The new structure was built out of the toughest materials out there and featured special gates to let out extra water. That meant they never had to worry about strong waves washing the dam away again. The results totally blew away even the wildest dreams of the locals and the scientists. Just a few months in, the water levels in the small Aral Sea started shooting up noticeably. Lake water slowly but surely started creeping back to its old historical shorelines. With the long-awaited return of big, clean water, the harsh weather in the area started seeing a real change. Where fierce winds used to whip up nothing but toxic dust, a nice, cool, and incredibly refreshing ocean breeze started blowing in from the recovering sea. The brutal summer heat cooled off a bit, and the bitter winters got noticeably milder and a lot more pleasant. Worried and exhausted locals finally breathed a massive sigh of relief, actually feeling the healthy shift in the air. Nature completely began waking up from its long sleep. The rising water crept up so close to the old ghost towns that a lot of folks initially couldn't believe their own eyes. The gap between the city of Aralsk and the shoreline shrank from a grueling 60 miles to just about 12. It felt like an absolute miracle to everyone watching. Right along with the clean water, life itself came back, specifically regular fish. At first, You saw some species that could handle really salty water, like flounder, slowly making an appearance. That saltwater fish turned into an absolute lifesaver for starving hometown fishermen during those brutal early years of the comeback. Then, as the whole lake slowly got less salty, the classic freshwater fish started coming back in droves. Hometown fishermen started hauling in big carp, delicious walleye, and fat brim again. The catches really started making folks happy, getting bigger and better literally every single fishing season. The nature all around also started bouncing back fast and strong. Flocks of migratory birds, including beautiful pelicans and incredibly graceful pink flamingos, happily flocked back to the newly green shores of the water. It was a massive sign that the local environment was steadily healing. Thick patches of reeds, which had completely vanished decades ago, sprouted up green and wild all around the lake again. They turned into an awesome hiding spot for wild animals and birds. The wetlands came back to life, constantly boosting the overall health of the environment for the whole region. The successful return of big-time fishing turned into a massive celebration for the folks living there. A whole bunch of families who had packed up and left looking for steady paychecks slowly started moving back to their home turf. Life in those fishing towns got filled up with pure joy all over again. Abandoned fish processing plants opened their doors again, serving up thousands of brand new jobs for both younger folks and adults. The coastal economy practically came alive right in front of everyone. They even started shipping frozen fish out for a nice profit to neighboring countries. But modern Kazakhstan has absolutely zero plans to just sit back and relax after hitting these awesome milestones. Up next on the country agenda is kicking off the super important second phase of saving the sea. This bold phase is gearing up to be an even tougher and way more massive project. The new game plan involves seriously bumping up the overall height of the Kokaral water retaining dam. By raising the dam just a few more yards, the sea will be able to safely hold on to even more fresh water. That is going to help the shoreline push right up to the very edge of Aral Sea. On top of that, they are planning a total top-to-bottom overhaul of the old irrigation canals. Right now, a ton of water just vanishes into the dry dirt because of the lousy concrete slabs lining the bottom of those ditches. Fixing them up right will go a long way in cutting down on those huge water losses. Every single drop of natural water is strictly monitored by the government right now. They want to deliberately point that life-giving water straight into the recovering sea. To make that happen, smart experts are coming up with brand new crop watering tricks to seriously conserve this resource. A really huge piece of these massive new plans is setting up perfectly safe spots for the valuable fish to breed. Right now, they are building top-tier fish hatcheries. Folks there will take real good care raising the tiny baby fish so they can release them by the thousands straight into the open water. This is definitely going to speed up the healing process and do a much better job of fixing the super fragile ecosystem of the recovering sea. Plus, the fishing hauls down the road are going to get even richer and more varied, bringing some very real benefits to absolutely all the hometown folks. They are also putting a ton of focus on a massive planting project across the dried-up bottom of the dead part of the Big Sea. In spots where the saving water will probably never come back, hard-working folks are planting a tough desert bush called saxaul, along with a bunch of other rugged plants. The stubborn, strong roots of the Saxol bush lock down the salty sand and toxic dust, completely stopping heavy wind gusts from blowing them miles away. Just one single fully grown Saxol tree can hold down up to 4 tons of loose sand with those powerful roots. Planting little young bushes right on the old floor of the massive lake is an insanely harsh and totally draining job. In the summer, the heat is absolutely scorching, and when winter rolls around, the freezing winds are brutal. Even so, people are putting in the tough work under these crazy conditions out of pure dedication. As of right now, they have already planted many millions of little green saplings. With every passing year, this life-saving man-made forest belt just keeps getting wider and thicker. It is a genuine, everyday grind that goes a long way in protecting the health of hundreds of thousands of everyday folks. The winning moves by the Republic of Kazakhstan constantly draw massive attention from the entire global science community. Smart folks from all kinds of faraway countries frequently catch flights out here just to take a close look at this one-of-a-kind success story of bringing an entire ecosystem back to life. What they managed to pull off so well up in this neck of the woods gives a ton of hope to plenty of other dry spots around our planet. This whole experience proves that even the most helpless-looking messes can be fixed as long as you put in enough hard work and use modern tech the right way. The real-world perks of bringing the lake back are becoming crystal clear to every single local. They are not just seeing a boom in money-making fishing either. A whole new educational tourism scene is taking off. Folks from all corners of the globe want to come see this absolute miracle of a comeback with their own eyes. Out in the small towns, they are confidently throwing up brand new modern hotels and mapping out handy tourist trails. Visitors are having an absolute blast, taking light boats out on the bays, trying the amazing fish, and soaking in the epic views of huge flocks of wild birds flying by. At the exact same time, sharp-eyed experts are sending out strict warnings that it is way too early to kick back and relax. Worldwide climate shifts and glaciers melting fast up in the high mountains could seriously mess with the water levels in the local mountain rivers in the very near future. That is exactly why saving water out on the farms is such a massive deal right now. Farmers are getting proactive and rolling out modern drip irrigation setups. These systems deliver water right to the plant roots, which basically cuts out all that pointless evaporation under the blazing southern sun. Another huge step for the greater good has been Kazakhstan keeping up a steady partnership with its friendly neighbors. To fully save the Aral, you really need the combined strength of every state in the area, since raging rivers do not care about borders and absolutely demand teamwork to manage right. On top of that, scientists are tossing around some mind-blowing new ideas for cleaning up the salty water. If they can nail down a cheap way to make it fresh, folks could use it to water the young trees around the sea, building beautiful green gardens right in the middle of lifeless, dry desert dunes. It is actually pretty interesting how the partial return of big water had a super positive effect on the local culture and the overall mood. Catchy folk songs about the returning sea are popping back up, and talented local artists are once again loving painting bright, lively ocean scenes hand over fist. Every single spring, when the river gets the most wild and packed with water, the freshwater levels in the lake shoot up fast right to the perfect mark. During this busy crunch time, sharp engineers open up the massive dam locks to smoothly and totally safely let out the built-up extra water. Right along with the rushing water, the bad built-up salt gets flushed out, which works wonders for easily keeping the natural salt levels just right in the northern part of the sea. This super important, non-stop process actually looks an awful lot like the steady, deep breathing of a massive, super healthy living creature. Regular folks, leaning on everything they have been through, have finally figured out how to live in total sync with their new environment. They are not just sitting around waiting for miracles anymore. Instead, they are teaming up in droves to form volunteer crews. These brave folks are busy scrubbing the shorelines clean of trash and lending a big hand in planting fresh, helpful green bushes. The heartbreaking story of this amazing region really needs to be locked into the memory of absolutely all humanity for good. It is a crazy clear example of how terrifyingly fast people can completely wreck nature just out of greed, and how much time it actually takes to save it afterward. Every single saxaul bush carefully planted into the dirt, every little fish raised up, and every drop of fresh water saved is a strong and steady step toward total success. And even if the hard work takes many more decades, a rock-solid foundation for a brand new, happy life has already been firmly and deeply set. Wrapping up the final thoughts on our deep dive story, you can say with total confidence that the Republic of Kazakhstan has pulled off some truly massive work to save its chunk of the Aral Sea. From the scary early days of facing the facts all the way to finishing up the dam, it was an incredibly rough ride. Today, the revived lake is fully alive again, taking deep breaths and bringing joy to its people every single day. Nature is patching up its deep scars thanks to a little help from humans. Make sure you hit subscribe on our channel and drop a comment letting us know what you think about this whole topic.